What's up, family? Welcome to episode 11 of the Chip Off the Old Block podcast. I am your host, CJ Matthews, here with none other than the notorious, a.k.a.
Hey, y'all. What's up? It's really exciting to be here today. I'm telling you, this is one of the more exciting days that we've done the podcast, and so let's get right in it.
Well,
how we should. What do you want to say over there? Wait, no. Wait a minute. What is it?
So I guess it's Dr. CJ
Trump.
Oh, man.
Nope, not today. You're not talking today. We are debating.
I ain't gonna lie.
Nope.
Was probably...
You are not talking today, I guarantee you. I do not need them hearing any of your ideas because I have none. I am not going to let you talk. I do not know how to debate, but I do know how to make fun of myself and make fun of everybody else.
Live from Cleveland, the debate part 2.
I'm debating you now too, huh?
No,
you out there, I'm debating you too. You from Fox, you supposed to be on my side.
It just so happened I had some stuff going on, but I got back probably like a couple minutes after the debate started, and I tuned in, and I was thinking back. I don't know if I should be ashamed to admit this or not. It is what it is. I don't think I watched any of the Trump-Clinton debates, so I don't even remember, or I just can't recall them. But I tuned in, and it was just like Trump being Trump.
Well, I mean, the debate itself, and some people are calling it the debacle. They're calling it all kind of things. But as I shared with our Bible study audience last night, I actually was on a tried out for a debate team.
Right.
And in the beginning, I was much like the president. And then the debate coach said to me, she said, "Charles, if you learn the argument, you won't have to argue."
No, yeah. And it's so much to be said about it, because in my immature, in the immature side of me, I don't know how much percent, 60, 40, I don't know what percent, but I thought it was hilarious. Like, Donald, if I'm able to like take my emotion out of things, and Donald Trump is one of the funniest people, like, in general. A lot of people might not like to hear that because they just hate Trump, and it's just. But I mean, it's like he's literally just that bully, and he was just picking on Joe Biden. And I don't know how y'all used to do it back in the day. I don't know if y'all used to play the dozen. Y'all play the dozen, maybe that lead to a fight. But I don't know if y'all used to like what y'all used to call it when y'all just talk about each other. But it's like Donald Trump was that one, and he was just picking on Joe Biden, and Joe Biden didn't know how to fight back. And it's like on one hand, so I just think that like some of the bizarre stuff that he says is just his antics. I find it very comical. But on a serious note, it's kind of like sad. That's like literally this is our president. Like,
well, if you actually know things, that's what makes it more challenging. I used to say that about certain aspects of Christianity. They expect you to turn off your brain.
Right.
And if you got a brain, then, unless you just bring it for theology, then it's unacceptable. And so I was having a real hard time early on because, I have to think about things. And I heard one commentator say, and then I remembered that he was talking about the forest fires and, really beating up everybody about the forest fires when they're federal force. They're yours, Mr. President. Put the fire out.
Yeah.
Come on, man. We're burning. Put it out.
Yeah.
And forgive me to all of those folk, and we have family out there, and I certainly don't mean to minimize the pain they're going through, but to look at the fact that so many things that were in place, and unfortunately, it had Obama's name on it. They didn't even look at it to see what value it had with validity. Throw out the pandemic book, throw this out, or Obama, throw it out, and that's just so tragic because there's always going to be a previous president and there was always going to be a post-president.
Yeah.
That's not going to change unless Jesus comes back.
Right.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so get over it. All right? Get over it. Okay, but the beauty of this thing is right now is this fire, and not the California fires, this fire in America is his fire.
Yeah, it definitely is his fire. I think we talked about this before. The ad where it's like, this is what you will see in Joe Biden's America. Actual footage of Donald Trump's America.
and the seriousness behind the tragedy of them downplaying and mischaractering the protest is that 96% of the protests and higher have no violence.
Right.
And we know that at least in Cleveland, I got 100% certainty from the FBI and law enforcement that it was not Black Lives Matter that had anything to do with protesting in Cleveland during the times when we had the protests after Mr. Floyd was murdered. And the beauty of the presidential debates, or the that wasn't even a good SNL. They would have did better. That wasn't Saturday Night Live. That was I've got a long list of stuff to look at, so I'll probably come back to it before I leave to name it something.
Yeah.
But the beauty of this thing is the protests that went on from Black Lives Matter and the other organizations that joined in with them were totally peaceful.
Yeah.
And the person
yeah,
who was the terrorist in this, who was the arsonist in this, just happened to be a Shaker Heights police officer.
Yeah. Call it out.
All right. I even like Kareem's response, though I'd have responded a little differently. Said he needs some sensitivity training and things. But again, it's so unfortunate that a law enforcement officer in the midst of the presidential debate or prior to the presidential debate with peaceful protesters would try to incite something different.
Right.
Okay. All right. And we keep hearing this over and over. 99.99% of the police are good police. No, 100% of the police are human. And 100% of the time, humans can do stuff.
Right. And to that point, you kind of got to, from all of what I heard, and maybe you can confirm or correct me, you kind of got to give credit to the police in the city of Cleveland for the job that they did.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. They were prepared. And see, we can't get too twisted about certain things. The president was in town. You're going to have everything associated with law enforcement, military.
Oh, man.
Because I remember when President Clinton came right here to this place.
Right.
And maybe we should get them to fix the roof. Because I had a special person with me, all right, to literally walk me around the church that I pastored to get egress and ingress, to get in and out, to go wherever I wanted to go. I was not allowed to go anywhere without him.
Right.
They had on the roof, and so this is mid-90s, so I'm sure they got other stuff now. But they bolted this big giant gun on the roof and bolted it. And they had a couple of those guys up there with them. And it was like, wow, Yeah. And the kind of protocols that were put in place was incredible. And so President Trump is our president. And that has nothing to do with his ability or inability. more to do with the fact that he does hold that position. And so there was going to be law enforcement and military and everything else in our town Tuesday night. Yeah. And again, shout out to Chief Williams and our men and women in blue, because they did a great job too.
Right. I mean, looking back at the debate, it was like, what were the takeaways? What was the takeaway? What were the actionable items? And it's like, I guess from Donald Trump's perspective, that wasn't even his purpose for being there.
Well, it doesn't matter. And it was really funny because I was talking to a good friend of mine today who's from New York.
Okay.
And he was trying to give me some insights on this,
New York City or New York State?
New York City. And kind of giving me some insights on certain characters. Please, New Yorkers, and I got New Yorkers that listen to us all the time. But certain people in New York he characterized, and he said that's typical. He'll think he's the greatest, the best. He'll never admit anything that he did wrong or anything. And he named a list of elected officials. And he said, "You guys are seeing what we've been seeing for." He's from New York, and they all say, "Well, we knew it before he was president or whatever." But but my takeaway from the debate was there should be no more debates.
No, 100%. 100%.
Let's have the election, because based on what I listened to on Fox, what I listened to on CNN, nobody's mind changed about anything. They saw a video, and they had already determined before the video was played what they were going to say.
Right.
And each candidate gave each group what they needed to say about them to continue to bash them, beat them up, hate them, mischaracterize each other or both of them, and send them into the toilet. So why waste the American people's time? Let's get these next 32, 33 days over. Realizing, audience, that November 3rd is not election day. It is the last day to vote. Do not get sucked into that, okay? It is not election day, all right? That is a name that has been given to that day, but election begins, voting begins. It's already began in some other states, but in Ohio, voting begins October 6th. October 6th, and if you are voting in person, go to Cuyahoga County Board of Election or your Board of Election in the county where you live and cast your ballot. Do not wait until November 3rd, okay? If you are voting by mail, mail it October 6th. Do not wait. I would suggest if you're voting by mail, take it down to the Cuyahoga County Board of Election at 30th and Euclid. The address is 25-something Euclid Avenue, okay? Take it there. Take it yourself. I know they've got boxes they've been fighting about, court approval and other. Take it to the Board of Elections and put it in that box. If you don't have transportation and you're a member of Mount Sinai Friendship United or a connected family, or just if you listen to this broadcast, let me know and I will make sure you get a ride to the Board of Elections, as well as if you are not able. Do not let anyone take your vote for you. Do not risk it. That is against the law. And I'm telling you, these people are going to prosecute people who violate election laws.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, so don't get sucked into this stuff. It is we have been under siege ever since 1965, going backwards.
Right.
All right, where we were not allowed the right to vote. All right, and poll taxes and hideous Jim Crow laws and so on and so forth. Then post voter rights bill, it has been the agenda of the conservative movement in every state to continue the Confederate mandate to keep us from voting.
Yeah.
All right. That when I say the Confederacy is still alive, make me a liar. Make me wrong. Make voting easy for all Americans.
Make voting easy for all Americans. I like the way you just put that. saying that is not election day. That is the last day to vote. That is a total paradigm shift. And I think that if we would get that, then, that would largely, it would increase the number. If we don't wait, if we be more proactive about our approach, it can only be powerful. So I'm going to definitely encourage everybody within my network, to go ahead and get on top of that, knock it out. Don't wait, because why wait?
Well, we've been conditioned over time,
right?
And that is to go and vote on election day. I remember, I think the first time your sisters voted, I think I took them on election day.
I mean, it's like a whole thing. Like, I'm going to get up today. I'm going to get dressed. I'm going to go down there. But no, let's go ahead and knock that thing out. Especially, it's a different context today than it was.
And it's changing every voting cycle. Since 2000, we've seen a total escalation in voter suppression. Voting, we're again in a civil war when it comes to voting. Now, some other things are going to mature, especially if this guy gets reelected, as far as civil wars. But we're in a civil war. We're in a place again where we are having to fight. The 2013 resolution that was passed is literally allowing all of this stuff, and the courts upheld it. And now with 200 federal judges across the country and 6-3 on the Supreme Court, those battles are going to be harder to win. So we have to win by increasing our participation.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's and I know, wow, and I hear all of those people. I thank God I've never been one of them, and I'm not hating on you because I had parents that wouldn't let me be. But I hear all those people saying, when is it going to change? When is it going to change? Then we discredit all the changes we've made.
Right.
We throw away the movement of LeBron and the NBA players. We throw away the actions of a Naomi Osaka. We throw away the actions of Patrick Mahomes and Lamar and all these young football players. Football players were not allowed to do anything. After Jim Brown and them guys came together and back in the day with the economic union, they made sure them athletes wasn't going to never do that again.
No, I think that's a good point. Whereas we do acknowledge and we do highlight the progress that has been made, but at the same time, not allow that to allow us to become complacent, because we know that there's still so much further that we have to get.
Well, I had the privilege of going to South Africa in 1994.
Right.
And I've said this before, and I don't know if I've said it on this show, though. 2 weeks after President Nelson Mandela was elected.
Yeah, that's powerful.
And because of Dr. Otis Moss and my relationship with him and a delegation he had put together from a specific university. And so I got a chance to travel with him and to go over there, and it was just unbelievable to sit with the lieutenants of the ANC who had worked those 28 years while President Mandela, late Dr. Nelson Mandela, was in prison, and the fight they had for one man, one vote.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And to hear their stories was just unbelievable. And then to come back to the States and travel with Dr. Mandela to Detroit, Washington, Atlanta, and to be there with him. And at that time, I was president of SCLC and Martin King III and others, so many just great people. But he had given us this saying, and it was called a luta continua.
The fight continues.
The struggle continues.
The struggle continues.
And so that's passed on to every generation, whether it's ethnic issues, whether it's race issues, breaking out of family cycles of whatever those things are, or building wealth, maintaining wealth, whatever the struggles are in who you are in your world, there's always something we can fight for.
Right.
And we know as African Americans in this country, all right, okay, we have many battles to fight, but we cannot discredit, minimize, and act like nothing has changed.
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess one simple retort to people who are against voting, and some people are just proudly like, no, I don't vote. You know, if it wasn't so significant, then why is there such an effort to stop it?
Well,
to make it difficult.
We'll see.
Right.
6-3. We will see.
Mm-hmm.
Now, a job can check your credit score.
Yeah.
And so I don't have to play the race card in the race game. You come in with a bad credit score, you're not getting hired.
Mm.
Or if I'm the right color and I come in with a bad credit score, I get hired.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because at the end of the day, the other thing at play that has always been in play historically is classism.
Absolutely.
And, that's
absolutely.
That's kind of a whole other thing, which.
Right. And that's why it's important for young people to, and especially and I don't like, how they're in the President Council, all diversity training and those things are making America look bad. I taught Black history at Cleveland State University, and 90% of my students were Caucasian.
Right.
And other ethnicities. And they loved it. All right. And the reason why they did was because they never heard those things before.
Right.
I didn't teach it in such a way. I was not teaching as an angry person that, most of the time I'm perceived as when I deal with certain things. But it was a joy for me to teach. It was a joy to have the interaction. But it was not harming to them to hear that certain people who they think were patriarchs owned slaves. They didn't know that.
Right.
They didn't realize that certain people they held in high esteem raped slaves. They didn't call it rape then. Mm-hmm. But it wasn't consensual sex.
Yeah. Man. We're in a whole different time now. So it's
all right. So, some of the things that were taught, in our history classes, diversity training. And see, I do it all the time.
What's that?
I do diversity training all the time.
What you do?
I have friends who call me and say, CJ. And I've been doing it for years, okay? And when they call me, I know they're sincere and serious.
Right.
Matter of fact, it's really funny because Dee Dee was a baby. She, your mom and I first got married, and Dee Dee was a baby, and I was working at this place. And I won't call his name because, hey, Harold, you still might be out there somewhere. But
he said his name.
No, his whole name. But Harold was, we worked together. We rode these little things, these little carts together and stuff. I was 20, 21. And, Harold came to me confused. His wife had just had a baby, and we was congratulating him and everything. Mm-hmm. And he came to me confused. He says, Chuck, I got to ask you something, man, but I don't want you to get mad I don't want to be fighting. I said, Harold, what's the problem? He said, I was in the nursery. And my wife took me to my son. And I saw these black families. When I was in the nursery, I didn't see no black babies. I said, well, Harold, we don't all come out charcoal, okay? But I could have been angry. I could have, but I knew Harold wanted an answer to a question.
All right.
Because he hadn't experienced that, And see, people think these are things of antiquity. No.
Yeah.
I remember walking through the airport. It's 1972 or 73. Maybe that's antiquity for you millennials, but anyhow, walking through the airport, and Mike, you never met, but you met Pastor Tim, and a little Caucasian little boy looked at us and said to us, "Mommy, what's those?"
Yeah.
And boy, his mother could have died. We didn't take it personal. We were down there to play football and get an education.
Right.
But today, for people to still say, what's those? Today, for people not to understand that everybody in there, all those babies belong to some of the ethnicities sitting here, regardless of what they look like.
Mm-hmm.
And then to make sure that a certain group of those babies have access, and another group simply because their melanin matures, they're denied access.
Mm-hmm.
Come on.
Yeah. And speaking of that, there's one specific portion of the debate that has everybody up in arms.
I don't know if I'm gonna let you talk.
Rightfully so.
I don't really want to hear this. I think that we're gonna have a vaccine before the election.
No, look.
Matter of fact, I made sure that we have enough tests for every American who wants a test.
It was
I know
the part.
I really believe that we're going to send somebody to Mars before the election. So you need to let me stand here because I can get us to Mars.
When he was no, I don't feel like Joe Biden. I don't know what I'm supposed to say. No, I shouldn't say that. But oh no. So the moderator, he gives him this opportunity. He says, "Will you denounce white supremacy, racism?" And then it's kind of a lot going on at the time, and he doesn't clearly do it, but he makes a statement, which is to the Proud Boys, stand back and stand by, and a lot of people are up in arms about that. What were you thinking when you heard that?
Well, I was thinking you got yours, I got mine.
No, that's a fact.
Well, having lived through these types of things in a sense, but never being alive when it was the president or my governor.
Although there were governors.
Yes, because we can go back. The governor of Alabama yesterday or recently apologized, to I think it's one of the Collins family members who's still alive, and her sister was Addie Mae Collins, who was killed as one of the 4 young girls.
Wow!
In the 16th Street church bombing, and her family is. I don't know if they're fighting for restitution, but they have. She has lived a challenging life because of what happened to her eyes. She survived, and what happened in her life. And the governor apologized, and I don't know what kind of apology it was. I don't know if Sister Collins accepted the apology, but the governor was clear about the state's responsibility, no responsibility for any type of monetary restitution. But the lawyer was arguing how the inflammatory words of the governor, George Wallace, created the environment for that bombing because of the things he said. And we saw it play out in Wisconsin with the young man who shot and killed those 2 people and wounded the other one. And we saw where now they've raised close to $1 million for his defense, and a Christian group raised $50,000. And at a rally a few weeks ago in Wisconsin, his mom was given a standing ovation.
Right, and that's kind of that portion of free speech where you getting close to that line of inciting riots and those sort of things, because literally that's a very dangerous thing when you weaponize, when you weaponize that and empower that group who's fueled by hate.
Absolutely. And therein lies the dilemma, because people of conscience understand, and again, the buzzword is dog whistles. We've lived with that all our life. We saw it in sports. We discussed it a lot. Athletic quarterback. He can run, but he can't think. Okay, we live with that.
Right.
Okay, we lived in an era when we wouldn't even thought about it. If you was a quarterback, you were a black quarterback in high school. When you went to college, you automatically played tight end, receiver, running back. It wasn't even an option. Okay. A few people, Doug Williams, and a few people got that opportunity because Doug went to Grambling. But whereas we see today, with the top quarterbacks, Russell Wilson, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes.
Keep going. Yeah.
Dak Prescott. Okay. And then you get down to the next tier, you still got guys in there too, like Tyrod Taylor.
Man.
Okay.
That's so unfortunate.
And then, no, Teddy Bridgewater was the one that got hurt. It wasn't Tyrod.
It was Tyrod Taylor.
It was
the one that got his lung punctured by the team doctor.
Yeah, Tyrod, right, by the doctor. Teddy is still playing, right. So anyway, you have these buzzwords that were used to speak around the true issue at hand. And so we know that in May, the president said he wanted the country to open. We saw Republican governors go against science and open the country. Now, I'm not saying they're right or wrong, because I've struggled with this, and I struggle with it every week that we're not gathering. And I mean, I was sharing with one of our members earlier today. I thank God that I've learned how to manage stress over years. I've learned how to manage the responsibilities, juggle the whatevers. But I'm challenged by not gathering, not because I alone would want to gather and rejoice, but because I know the pressure that people are up under, and I know the value of the church in their lives.
Right.
And so it's a challenge, but we know those words, we know those buzz, we know those dog whistles, we know those kinds of things. And now the new threat is I need my people to go out and be poll watchers. Well, here's the beauty of this country. At least I'm 67. I've been voting since 1971.
Mm-hmm.
So I participated in 49 years worth of elections. And we've been running elections pretty good in this country. And we've had a few debacles or debates. Some people still don't acknowledge Bush as the president.
Hanging Chad.
Even though he served 8 years. But, Gore bowed out gracefully after the court decision.
Yeah.
It was okay. And every cycle, the voter suppression has gotten worse. And again, as a country, as a nation, we're fully divided philosophically. All right, 50% of the country, or whatever percentage is conservative, whatever percentage is liberal, we're fully divided. And so now we're at a place now where, again, the conservatives are in power. All right, and so they have a right to appoint a Supreme Court justice. All right, one of the things I wish Biden had reminded him of is that the reason why Obama couldn't fill those 120-something federal judicial seats is because the Senate wouldn't confirm them.
Right.
And that's here nor there. I mean, we can fuss and fight about protocols, decorum. What else is that stuff? See, I've never been into this stuff either. I know that's why I rub some people the wrong way. I've chosen intentionally to never kowtow to stuff that came from other people's culture.
Yeah.
Even though I want to be keenly aware of the rules, I know the etiquette when I sit down to eat. Our parents taught us, forks here, oh, don't do this, don't you? I'm like, shoot, I'm paying for this food.
I don't know if nobody told me that.
I probably didn't. If your mama didn't teach you, I know I didn't. Because I'm paying for this food. You want me in your restaurant? Then you're going to come and get all that I bring with me. I remember being at a class reunion, and me and Myron, we was just having a good time. So they said, well, you're a pastor now. And I said, oh, man, what does that mean? I can't have no fun. Wasn't getting high.
Yeah. Yeah. It was I guess the one good takeaway I have is I know now who to thank for Ohio State football coming back.
Oh, man. I was like, woo, you did that? Man. But I'm still not voting for it. But you did that, man. It was really funny because I listened to the first time he said that. I listened to the commentary coming out of Ohio State, and they had to walk a thin line because they couldn't say nothing.
Right.
Well, it may have been a factor, but, the moment that the other 3 Power 5 conferences started playing and the coaches and everybody started talking again, they knew they was going
to play. Well, I guess now we kind of changing gears. We didn't even mention it because it happened like right after we recorded last time. So it was like right on the heels of that. Guess who else is back?
Right.
Pac-12. So now it's back. It's on.
Well, I mean, I think to Ohio State's credit, I think a couple of the presidents in the Big Ten have actually medical degrees. And I think one of them actually is in that field of disease.
Well, yeah, I've been hearing some stats from not medical people, but from statisticians. And I know I brought it up, and I ain't going to mention it, but we'll talk about that off camera, just about with what's going on. But just the statistics, just purely numbers, not medical expertise, but just strictly numbers and what are the numbers saying. And I'm like, wow, that's really interesting.
It is interesting. And we saw where the Titans had to cancel their game against Pittsburgh because of an outbreak. And again, and we have a few people in our family that are playing. We have a few of our young people who are playing, who are at college for sports. As a matter of fact, I was talking to one grandmother the other day, and her grandson, they're not playing at his school, and he's a sophomore this year, and he's just, that sophomore year is a tough year. Focus on your academics. Don't do the sophomore blues and get kicked out, and be the best student, which he's a good student already. And then the next year, and he's got all the physical abilities, and I say just got to hit it hard next year.
Yeah, and I don't want to say it like this. It's not good that this happened, but obviously you don't want anybody to have anything. But it'll be interesting to see how it plays out, because we know if all of this stuff is going to move forward, then we're going to have to figure out how to adjust once it happens. So, from that standpoint, I'm kind of interested to see, okay, they don't play this week. They got to shut down. So how is it going to go moving forward? What's going to be the outcome of that?
Right. And that's what I said to a medical person I was talking to this week, is the good thing about it, let's take away the noise of the politics.
Right.
Medical people and scientists who this is their life and their job, they're working and they're learning. They'll discover. See, when God told Adam to subdue the earth, everything man ever needed was in the earth.
100%.
And so we discovered internets or whatever, cotton, okay? All right, whatever we discovered, it was in the earth. Nothing has, when they went to
no. I know I got some people out there. It's another group. You're not a part of this group. But it's other people who think that some of this technology is coming from somewhere else.
Oh, yeah, right. I'm not going to name somebody in your family that I love very much. and I guess in that sense, but anyway, I still believe it all comes from the earth, okay? That God gave us the ability to subdue. He gave us the intellectual capacity, and if we keep growing and maturing, we can learn and grow, and there's nothing we won't be able to do before the Lord comes back. And the only thing that will stop the progress of man, the progress of humanity, and their willingness to grow intellectually or in capacity to do things is sin and the Lord's return. But even sin doesn't stop it. We just use it for immoral things.
Yeah.
But I had an opportunity last night to watch the Lakers and the Heat.
Man.
And I'm like, man, this dude LeBron, man, this dude's a genius.
Machine.
This dude is a genius. We got mad when he left. Miami got mad when he left. But LA pretty happy right now.
Oh, no.
That dude knows when to get his hat.
That's a fact. So it was like as soon as I had some stuff going on, a lot of stuff I'm working on. So I was score watching. I checked the score, and I was like, oh, man, they not off to a good start at all. And then I look back. I'm like, oh, my goodness. Is it really going to be this easy? And I know they not taking it that light or anything, but just looking back at the clips, man, LeBron looks great. I'm talking about just shape, form. For his age, like that like, it's so tragic that the greatness that we're experiencing right now is always being thrown shots at and just not enjoyed, because not to compare him to Jordan, anything like that, but we've never seen anything like this.
Not at all.
And then you got AD, and man.
Well, see, the thing is one of the things that I'm enjoying is because I've seen this, over the years, is his selflessness.
Right.
Because anybody else would have got a triple-double last night.
Yeah.
All he needed, especially toward the end, it was just before they went out, one pass to, I don't know if it was Kuzman or whoever was there, and he just went on and took the dunk because it didn't mean as much as what they had already accomplished. And that's my interpretation, but again, anybody else would have gotten that one more assist.
Yeah.
Because that would have gave him another triple-double because he's already number one in so many categories. It's unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
And it's just a joy. And I know we're biased. I'm biased for several reasons. And Jordan was, and I know you, Jordan. You Jordan, everything. Shoes and stuff.
Oh.
I spent many whatever. Anyway.
Oh, shoot, man, real quick. I just want to say, man, thank you, though. I hit today on the sneakers app. If anybody who knows what that is, it's been a long time coming.
No, he know y'all know what it is. He know I don't know what it is.
No, man, because I am in search for a sneaker plug. So I want to take a second just to kind of sort of shamelessly use my platform and appeal to the people. If any of you are, in fact, a plug on the sneaker side, send me a DM, an email, let me know. As my dad would say, holla at your boy.
Yeah. I forgot where I learned that. I used to listen. Back in the day when I was preaching early, I don't know when it was, but I used to go look up Snoop. Snoop used to have a list of terms for old people. So old people could determine between the hip-hop world and our world. And so I would go look up Snoop Dogg's list of terms, and I said, other guys were looking at religious books, and they was looking at power words. And I was like, no, I know all that crap up in the school, though. Snoop, what you saying?
Yeah.
Now, I don't know him. I'm not trying to act like I know Snoop, but I don't know what year that was he put that out. I had to look it up and see if it's still available, but then he's and you'll hear a preacher say, and the Greek says. Mm-hmm. Well, today we're so diverse, we need to know what the plug is, what the this is. We got to speak to all of the worlds, all of the culture, and stop fighting and hating so much and enjoy. I'm not going to do everything you do. I'm not going to enjoy everything you and Andre enjoy and Derek, but I'm going to enjoy what I enjoy, but I'm not going to hate on y'all because y'all enjoy what y'all enjoy.
Yeah, I mean, and that's kind of one of the things about social media. And, man, I know we talked about this off camera, but I want to come back to the social dilemma next episode. So hopefully we get a chance to kind of watch that and digest it because it's a lot to say with that. But it's just like everybody has a platform. Everybody has an opportunity to say something. And so many times people just take the opportunity to hate when you could easily just not say anything. It's like support what you support. And if you don't like it, then...
Oh, I might drop some stuff on some people.
Well, certain stuff needs to be addressed.
I don't build my life that way. Well, the devil, I'm going to get him all the time. But, see, I've always said this, and I teach this in our pastors, ministers class, theology and all this stuff. I went to school so I could learn this stuff. All right. So that when I make a departure, whether it's grammatically or theologically, it's an informed departure.
Right.
It's not based on ignorance.
Yeah.
Okay? And so my grandmother used to say to me all the time, well, honey, if they told the truth. Grandma, they said I got a fat head. Well, honey, if they told the truth, I had a fat head. So, eventually it was like, okay, Grandma, I ain't going to let that bother me no more. It is fat. What the heck?
It's just like a whole thing. It's just like a whole culture like of shade and hate. And it's just like, even within the church, and it's gets under my skin. It's one of my like pet peeves. It's just like, it's always an whenever the opportunity for shade to be thrown or hate. I don't know if you're familiar with the term shade. Anytime there's opportunity for hate.
See?
There it's like.
I know what a shade is. It goes over the window.
This guy is gold. They take it. And it's just like, it is a couple of likes a couple of laughs. Is it worth it every time? And I just be like, man, we supposed to be the church, the body of Christ.
Oh no!
But it's
no.
like,
come on, bro. See, I remember when I came to church. All right, I thought everybody was like grandmother. And I was like, what? You know, the stuff I had left, okay, it was stuff, all right? And so I'm coming into church like, okay, right, I'm new. We're going to figure this thing out. We're going to be a Christian. And I'm like, wait a minute. These dudes is worse than them. And I was like, for a minute, I was really, really challenged. You know, but D.L. Moody said it like this, and founder of Moody Bible Institute and all those things. The Christian army is the only army that shoots its wounded, and it's not friendly fire. Man. You know, and so I don't know what that is. Again, it's envy in some cases. It's jealousy in other cases. It's insecurity in some cases. And so because even though we're believers, we do have these flaws.
No, right. And it's just like just the constant attacking, even like on the low. I just can't get with that.
No. See.
It's veiled.
Here's how Christian gossip works. Honey, you better pray for CJ. Then they put all your business out.
Yeah, that's. Yeah.
I mean, you know, religious hypocrisy. You know, if I could go ahead and retire and just go on the road and do stand up on religious hypocrisy, I probably could finance your ministry.
Hey,
with no trouble.
I had a special I was working on. I ain't gonna give out the title; it's too good. But maybe I'll give it to you.
Well, when we were kids, all right, I played the preacher, but it wasn't based on the Bible.
Right.
It was based on comedy.
Yeah.
And then when God called me, it was like, you know, I was a children's pastor and a youth pastor, and it was like I went down there preaching them the same stuff I was preaching to grown people, and they was throwing spitballs at me. And I was like, oh no, we're gonna have some fun. So when I would come upstairs periodically, I was like, oh no, I gotta be serious now with the grown people. And so I was like, yeah. And I'm sure that's why some people don't come to our church. They say, this guy ain't serious. I'm serious about it. See, when you're anointed, when you are confident in your calling, and you don't have a mold that you're trying to become.
Right.
You know, my pastor gave me so much freedom to grow and become myself. You know, I loved him no matter what, because he was my pastor long before I ever got saved, and took care of my family and funerals and weddings and, you know, everything. But then after I got to really know him, and then as he groomed me for ministry and gave me the freedoms to do the things I did and explore ministry, explore the kingdom, explore God, and even to be able to preach the kingdom versus tradition, all of those things brought grace to my life. And at this point in my life, and at this age that I am, you know, it's just a joy to serve. I enjoy and love what I'm doing. I'm having fun. I don't know.
Yeah. Maybe that's what it is. It's a tradition of sassiness that has infiltrated.
I'm sassy?
So no, not you.
Oh.
You were speaking about kingdom versus tradition. Getting back to the point of the hate. It's tradition. So I guess that's all. It just has matured with the times like everything else.
My best friend to this day is still your uncle, naturally, and Myron, okay? Because when me and Myron get together, we just have fun.
No, right.
You know, it ain't about no, you know, judging and all that stuff,
Yeah.
you know. Same thing with Harris Made and making, you know. But, you know, I think in this life that you have to have some places where you can release some things.
Yeah.
And so I think I don't know what people who hate all the time. I don't know. I wish I could just sit with them and hear their hearts, and share with them the joy that's on the other side of that hate. Because I can hit pretty hard, and I know I can because I'm gonna study something pretty good before I open my mouth. Whether I give details or not, I was laughing the other day. No, but man, I was talking to your mom a couple weeks ago, and I was like, man, when I was a kid, I didn't want to be no intellectual. I wanted to be a jock. And I didn't even want to be known as an intellectual because you had to fight all the time, though. Now, back then, it was we called them the dumb kids, but I know we're not allowed to do that anymore. Okay, all right. But you got beat up every day. Okay, all right. And then I decided, nope, y'all ain't beating me up. Okay. So I said, nope, I'm not going to be the smart kid, but I'm not going to be less than smart because of my mom and them. But then I remember it was like I got in college after the jock period, and now I'm actually trying to be serious about education. I was like, man, you need to be the smart kid.
No.
All right.
Yeah.
And so then I was fortunate enough to be blessed to go through that and master all the stuff that I got. But I made those accomplishments, but it wasn't for people to look at me or anything in a way that would exalt. I made those accomplishments to honor the grace that was on my life to do it.
Right.
You know, it's like, wow, you do have a brain. Wow. It's so clear now.
Yeah. And I probably shouldn't even say this because they're going to be like, oh, really? But no, I kind of got to go. And maybe there is some vanity to it. But kind of to your point of just like maximizing that which is within. Next time I do go through this educational system, I'm going to be the one. Like, I'm going to be the one there giving a speech at the end because just because I feel like I have to do it. So
right.
Next time next graduation I have, I'm going to be number one. That's my goal.
Yeah. And there was never a goal of mine. He didn't get that, and that's mother, you know. But Dr. Toni Morton, she was that person. All right. High school, college, doctorate. I mean, she was that person. Yeah, she was that person, you know. And another friend of mine, they were always up there, all of them. Dr. Frank Page, you know. These are people I went to school with, you know. But they were serious. Even now, I'm sure they enjoyed life and had fun and things like that. And Dr. Toni is doing tremendous work in ministry in Atlanta, and Frank's been a doctor for 40 years. But at the same time, you could see them where academics wasn't real important. Whereas for me, it was like, man, I got to go to school, get it done, pass, eligible, good.
No, it's kind of like just like a general principle. And, you know, as I'm aging, I'm reaching a point where things, you know, are a lot more serious. But it's just like, you know, it's only one time around on this thing. And, you know, it's real easy to kind of like rely on your talents and rely on your gifts as opposed to really letting them work for you and maximize it. It's just kind of a thing that I've been thinking about. But yeah, I probably shouldn't have told you this, but that's what I'm on.
That's good. I'm very happy to hear that. Y'all don't know the backstory, the off-camera story.
Yeah.
But praise the Lord, son. All of my children have their undergraduate degrees, and 3 of them have their master's degrees.
Not me. It's cool.
And so it's interesting, but because, you know, I didn't get my doctorate until I turned 50 that year. And so I got my doctorate in May. I had this big birthday party in August, and, you know, church gave me a big celebration. Everybody gave me we celebrating everything. And that's when the power went out on the Eastern Seaboard that night of my party.
Oh, wow.
The weekend of my party. I was like, okay, Lord, why you let the devil do that to me? I mean, the power went out on the Eastern Seaboard. So it's like, how can you be mad about something like that? It wasn't like the lights went out at the hotel and the lights went out at the house.
Blackout.
It was the blackout.
Yeah.
That was my weekend of my birthday for my 50th birthday, which, again, we're not just celebrating my birthday, but graduation and all those things. So it's kind of marked in my memory.
Yeah. Well, we getting there. Any special plans this weekend?
Yeah, a lot of special plans. I just don't remember what they are, but I'm sure it's special. I'll be with your mama. That's always special. Yeah, we're going into October now, and this is a busy month for us. We got a lot going on, and I'm really starting to enjoy it. I'm learning this podcast stuff, y'all. So I enjoy. According to your mom, I like to talk, but I enjoy the engagement. I like the fact that I'm having to look at more things, do a little bit more research than I've been doing lately, other than sermons and things of my own interest. I've got to become more global in my interests and my research, so that's good. And I'm enjoying that. But happy football is back and basketball playoffs are going on. And Indians got put out. Well, you know what? When you play like we played, our pitching kind of didn't get us to the end. Our hitting picked up. But when dudes start hitting grand slams on you to win, when they hit two of them in one night, baby, destiny was on their side. So I'm not mad at Cleveland. I'm not mad at them at all. And I can't say that word again, but I'm not mad at them at all. It's a different kind of year.
I didn't even catch that.
We got a good team. Yeah, we got a good team. So.
Browns got Dallas.
And I like that because they need to be tested at another level. And Dallas has lost a couple games.
But they done played the real boys.
Oh, yeah. But that's what I'm getting ready to say. They had lost a couple games, cliffhangers against
them boys. Because, man, so based on a little bit of football I've seen so far, right now, Kansas City is still the team to beat. And Seattle is for real, too.
Oh, Kansas City and Seattle. That's one class. Got some teams got to figure it out. I mean, I know they keep taking up for Drew, but
yeah,
Michael Thomas is out.
Right.
And it's looking really different.
It's looking a lot different.
And I'm like, I know what Mike brings, That's Ohio State kid.
Yeah, that's tough. I remember his very first spring game. I went to that was the year I took Donovan down to Ohio State. Spring game. That was his senior year of high school. So we went down to the spring game, and there was this kid. He was a redshirt freshman. And when I tell you, like, he was balling, I was like, oh my God, I don't know who that kid is, but he's gonna be something. And then, like, he didn't play that year. He didn't play like at all, really.
Yeah, maybe. Look at who we had.
No, and then I'm like, man, whatever happened to that kid? And then I'm like, oh no, there he is. I'm like, I knew that kid was the truth.
Yeah, but I'm saying, and he's such a powerful weapon, but I'm like, Drew is showing a little something now. To his credit, time after the first week, then he's come back.
Yeah.
Okay, he's come back.
Yeah, he has come back.
He's come back. And Big Ben, and I got Ray Houston, Ray Lowe, and Ed Rayford and all them out there, Steelers elders. Big Ben looking too good to me right now. I don't like it.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. But if we could take care of Dallas, that'd be a great sign.
Oh yeah. This game is a game to say, okay, are you maturing?
Right.
How real is our run game?
Right.
Okay.
Oh man. Shoot.
Well, we got the best 1-2 punch in the NFL right now, regardless of how effective they can be. But between Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, you don't put two backs in the backfield like that.
Yeah, true. He almost had 300 yards. So
I mean, and the good thing is Dallas has gotten away from their run game.
Yeah.
So but I want to see it Sunday, and so that's my weekend.
Yeah, me too. Don't got too much, nothing special planned. Work, got work to do.
Good, I'm glad you're working.
Work.
So if you're working, that means I don't have to work.
Hey, I don't know. I don't know what's. I don't think I got anything else.
Well, I have a lot more, but it's time to go. Your mama be talking about, I saw the podcast.
No, and this is what people got to understand. See, probably I don't know how much of our audience actually listens to podcasts, but there's a variety of different types of podcasts. Like some of the podcasts I listen to are 2 and 3 hours long, so we're really closer to the shorter end. So
Now I know why I never seen no podcasts.
No,
I look at a movie. I do not look at who's in the movie. I look at how long it is.
No, the podcast audience is a different audience than most things. And, let me just take a second to give a shout out to all of our listeners, all of our watchers. Shout out to you. We're definitely thankful that you guys are tuning in each and every week. This thing is only growing, and research shows that people who listen and watch podcasts are typically smarter people. So I'm just saying.
Oh, because I don't listen to podcasts, I'm not smarter people.
This was a separate conversation. I'm talking to the listeners.
So he just trumped me. How dare you talk about intellect?
Oh yeah. He said, "Don't." See, that guy is, man. He's hilarious. I don't wish he was our president, but like he's definitely knows the TV game. Because he's a master.
Nobody better. Maybe some people better, but as far as you had politician, the world's new, the country's new. I don't know about the world. New engagement around reality TV, and the need for drama just to make social media work. Social media would not work without the hate.
No, 100%.
And the drama. All right? We could grow our podcast in 5 minutes just with some stuff I could say.
Yeah.
Okay? I choose not to, out of my respect for my deceased parents who wouldn't hear it. And my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Yeah. And your mama.
No, that's 100% true.
Yep. So, I want to grow
organically.
Yeah. Well, I enjoy what we're doing, and if people look at it and can enjoy it, we're gonna have some stuff that's actually real truth, real facts. We know who owns the force in California. We know that.
Yeah.
And we know that elections are not fixed. And the few people who try to do things that are negative in elections usually get caught, and or will be people who have been dog whistled to do it.
Yeah.
I don't know who's blowing the whistle. I'm not sure.
Yeah. It's so
okay, Lord, forgive me.
No, it's so crazy because as I'm watching this thing play out, it's like literally, what comes to mind. I don't know what the movie is called, but it's like an election movie with Will Ferrell and the other guy from The Hangover, and then the one with Chris Rock, Head of State. It's just like, this is literally like.
But see, here's the challenge: the people who have embraced this current regime, they don't see any of the stuff we see. They see it totally differently. And maybe that is the beauty of America or the beauty of humanity. Because I listen to friends who are conservative. I listen to friends who are liberal. I don't buy into those labels because I'm a kingdom person. And some things I do, people say, wow, you must be a liberal. Other things I do, people say, you must be a conservative, which is why I've always worked across the aisle and never had any hate for any group. But they see it very differently.
Yeah, and I think part of that is because, in a sense, it's not like people aren't looking at things objectively, and we all have our own biases, whatever. But it's like so often we're looking and we're listening to confirm, to have, what I'm saying, for validation of what we think and what we believe, as opposed to what's actually happening and being said.
Well, I think that probably because you haven't been raised this way. But for some people to vote for the opposite party is very hard because of how they've been indoctrinated. That's left and right.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess I don't know.
Yeah.
It's not like we talk about it. I mean, we obviously, if there was coming up, if there's an issue I wasn't like educated on, I'd be like, hey, what do you know about this, that, or, we know specific people, you know what I'm saying? But like, it's never like, oh, we do this. The only thing we do is we vote.
We vote.
I mean, even then, it's like not like, oh, I'm just going to vote because they said I vote.
Right.
And I think that's one of the benefits that I had growing up. On one hand, I've had to learn, but it's like the main thing that we were taught was to think for our own self and to not just go along with anything, but any choice we make is to make an informed decision, based on at least a thought process. Now,
Right. Well, it's one of the reasons why I couldn't fit into tradition and couldn't fit in most ministry models was because it didn't fit in my brain.
Right.
I've never been able to be a staunch anything other than I hope and pray I'm a staunch Christian and a staunch husband. Well, I better leave husband off until your mama say I am, but once I got saved, it was kind of hard for me to commit to things and be passionate about a Democrat or a Republican. I can be passionate about criminal justice reform.
Yeah.
I can be passionate about ending poverty.
Yeah.
Because some people don't think those two things are possible. And I know a God who could make it possible. And even though Jesus said the poor you will have with you always, he didn't say it because they had to be poor. He said because the poor that they were with them at that time were going to still be there after he went in the grave.
Right. And maybe this is a post-election conversation because a lot of people are having certain conversations that aren't untimely, I guess you could say. But, it hasn't always been Democrat and Republican. Those haven't always been the two dominant parties. And it doesn't always have to be that. Now, today isn't the day to necessarily make that change, right. But that is a real thing because as a younger person, I always thought, I don't know where these ideas weren't come from anywhere else. Maybe they would come from God. I don't know, maybe from my own self. But I always thought like, man, we need our own party and things of that nature. I was a lot more revolutionary, I guess, when I was a little younger. But that doesn't have to be this. Like, it isn't fixed. And I guess that's kind of what my fight is against. It's not just this forever or that forever. I feel like it's all on the table.
Absolutely. Well, I told a friend of mine, a conservative friend of mine, I said, listen, this is true. You do not see the United States of America in eschatology. Now, we can stretch all we want to. Mm-hmm. Make some of those places United States. But the map would mess you up and the seas and the oceans would mess you up. Okay?
Yeah.
All right? It's real clear where Jesus is going to be fighting the battles at.
Right.
All right? And we know nations have risen and nations have fallen. Mm-hmm. Okay? And so, 400-year-old experiment, totally split down the middle, on the brink any moment of a second civil war. Come on. My prayer is that we could, and I think Joe Biden said something that was very powerful, is that we need to be bringing the country together around healing. Okay? And somehow I know God has given us enough land to all be here.
Yeah, 100%.
We're burning millions of acres in California. It's still enough for everybody to have a spot.
Oh, it's enough abandoned houses for everybody to have a house.
So I know that's not the problem. I know space is not the problem. All right. So we would need to identify what the real problems are and then go at it with the same way we go at rebuilding after 9/11, the same way after Pearl Harbor, the same way after the crash of '08, now the crash of the pandemic, and we will be a great nation. But we can't say that we're a great nation if we can't say Black Lives Matter. We can't say that we're a great nation if we can't say, yeah, we for 56 years have tried to oppress people and keep them from voting. We can't say, why is it that more children are born to single households in the black community than in the majority community? When we had mass incarceration, government franchised crack cocaine brought into our communities. Government, that's right. I know y'all don't believe it. Government. The movies are starting to come out, though. That's a good thing about Hollywood. The movies come out about 20
Have you
years
ever
later.
seen Snowfall?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, no, I don't have to see Snowfall. Arthur Fechner.
Yeah.
Okay, I remember Congressman Stokes' battle with them.
Yeah.
And how all of the law enforcement got away with it because they didn't know what he was doing. Biggest lie ever told, because we know people who know people.
There you have it.
Yeah. So anyway, we have some ills that need to be cured. And if we were not a Christian nation, because our Constitution wouldn't allow that. See, that's the other thing we don't understand. And that's why when I hear conservatives say, the reason why we want to appoint Justice Barrett, and I think it's wrong to diss her and not meet with her, because she's going to be confirmed. All right? So you just show respect to a Supreme Court justice. You don't have to like them or agree with them. But when they say constructionists, then come on. This can't be a Christian nation. Not if we look at the First Amendment.
Hold on. What do you mean?
Strict interpretation of the Constitution.
Oh, no. You said constructionists. I didn't know which end they were.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And for us, that's really bad.
All right.
That's what I always say to my black conservative friends. Be careful, you about to be taken out of the Bill of Rights.
Well, I know that's for another podcast, but
yeah,
my thoughts on the Constitution are completely different. So,
yeah, another podcast.
Well, we'll end it here. Hope you have a blessed day, a blessed weekend, or whenever you're watching this. See you next time.
Hey, we're ending now so that his mother cannot say that all I do is run my mouth. Thank you so much for listening.